Hey guys, it's Michelle, and I'm super excited to have Denise Hughes on this episode of Practical Profits, our interview series that is focused just this week on only Women Who Wow members. And I am super excited to have Denise on here. She is one of the most authentic and courageous women that I've had the privilege of meeting. We met several years ago, and I am just super excited to have her on. But before I kind of get into the questions for her, I want to direct you guys to her website, and this will be right below this video when we launch it. But it's DeniseHughesExported. And on that website, you can find out all about what she does as a money coach. She is one of the most practical and gifted money coaches in the world. I actually happen to have a bird's eye view of her writing her book, which is Earn, Save, Spend, Give. And if you don't already have this book, you owe it to yourself to have this book. She is super practical in the emotional aspect of how to deal with your money. I have never read anything like it before. When she was writing this book, I was looking it over for her, but I was learning the whole time. And as she's talking, and I've long said many times that I know how to make money, but I was really, managing money or saving money or whatever. It just was, I always said, it's not my strong suit. It's not my strong suit. And one of the several things in her book really turned things around for me in that regard. And I just, that's one of the reasons I had her on today. And just to thank you, Denise, and also expose you and your book and all of your wisdom to our Women Who Wow members. And so welcome here. Really excited to have you on and excited just to kind of dig into all that you're up to.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here with you today, and just thank you from my heart for this. It's lovely to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you're meeting Denise for the first time, she is so heart-centered. What she says, she genuinely means. She's been such a blessing to me and to WOW members. And I'd love for her to tell us in her own words what you've been up to, Denise, what you've been up to in your business, what you've accomplished in 2016.
Okay. All right. This has been a year of transition in some ways for me, because most of my work has been one-on-one with clients. And this year I branched out in a couple of ways. One is that I started to have these groups with women in my living room, very steeped in ritual and conversation. And
where do you live, really quick, so people know?
I live in Northern California.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, in a little town called San Carlos.
Okay.
And so this has been a way for me to branch out with women, and in my living room doesn't seem so overwhelming. And it's been really a beautiful way to branch out from one-to-one clients.
That's awesome.
And it feels manageable. I just love it. And the other way that I started to branch out this year is that I started to offer brown bag financial education series to local companies here in Silicon Valley. And so those two ways of, expanding, they're right for me. I love teaching, and then I really love the ritual and the deeper conversations with small groups.
I love that. And it's also taking, and a lot of our members are going sort of from a one-to-one to a one-to-many approach. And I love that. So if you could just tell me a bit more about the brown bag lunches. A lot of our members are trying to get into sort of some corporate gigs like that. So can you tell us how you're getting those, if you're getting paid to deliver those, and or if the company pays, if the people pay, if you're selling something while you're there? I'd love to dig into that, because I know a lot of our members are looking to do that as well.
Sure. So in some companies, I have had contacts just from maybe a meetup group or something really obscure where somebody has heard me and then they've contacted me and said, "Hey, I'm in charge of the brown bags. Will you come and do a series?" And then other ways that I've gotten into companies is just by going through human resources. And that way it takes more time, a little more digging. But, usually the brown bag is an hour to an hour and a half. I take my books are for sale, and I find them very lucrative. Here, where I live, they're about $1,000 an hour.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And so anyway, it's a nice model for me where I can present a series, maybe 4 classes over a quarter, and then what employees want to come, and so and it's just great because there's lots of conversation. It is set up more classroom style, with a PowerPoint presentation, but I really leave a lot of room for discussion and questions and things of that nature.
I love that. And I tell you, for corporate America, I think that I've said in the entrepreneurial world, the fastest way to change someone's life is to change how they make a living. But in the corporate world, if you can imagine, I mean, you've been there, I know I've been there, where
Mhm.
money is an issue. Right, like where
Right,
you're not
right,
sure about how the bills are getting paid, and all the bills aren't getting paid, and you're juggling that, and that takes up a lot of energy. And I can imagine in
right.
corporate America, when you kind of lose some, I'm guessing, some performance from employees who are
Yes,
kind of bogged down and harassed by money issues. And I know that that's true in the entrepreneurial world, right? Like, how many
right,
times have I
right,
personally been held back between what I call like right now money, like I need money right now, versus future money where I'm building something. And a lot of
right.
times, in fact, you won't be able to be here, but November 21st, we have a live meeting, and we're going to talk about sort of when the right now sort of thing for your business chokes out or strangles out the building what you really want, being really deliberate about it. And so I just want to really stress to anyone watching this, her book would be a great gift to you. Earn, Save, Spend, Give. It's really the 4 ways your money can work for you, but it's profound in the way that it addresses sort of what, in my opinion, people don't really think about how they think about money, right? It's sort of the,
Right.
do you ever think about what you think about, but applied to money. And I was just shocked at how dead on that this book was. And it was really some profound shifts that got to me. Because I don't know, for other people watching, but, sometimes when I didn't pay bills on time or whatever, it was because I didn't have the money, right? Like, I know what it is to not be able to afford like contact solution because it's $8 and you have $4, but sometimes the money was there and I still didn't pay, right? And it was like one of the things that got to me in your book was, it was just, man, it was that emotional, like not wanting to let go of the
Right.
money. And that was just huge, just really profound for me. So it really helped me a lot. So tell me what you have planned for 2017. Do you have anything different or new, any further expansion planned for your business?
So I do. I have a program that I'm really excited about that isn't really ready to share yet, and it's for women, and it possibly can be online, but I'm kind of still working that out. And what I would really like to do in 2017 is that there are these bits and pieces of my business, like these chunks, like the one-on-one, the women's groups, the brown bags, and then this other piece that I want to create. And I would like to formulate them into some model that creates more time wealth for me.
Good.
That's where I'm at. And right now, I don't know what that looks like, but I do believe that that will come. Right?
Yes.
It'll happen through connecting with you, connecting with the WOW members, and so that's really my next piece is that leverage piece. And I will tell you that this year I have had a lot of big shifts in my mindset because of the WOW membership and reading what other people are writing and how they're transitioning and how they're opening up to more leverage. And it's really influenced and impacted me in a really beautiful way.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. I think that transition is kind of where we all are, and one of the things that, and I don't know for sure, but as we go in as a membership into 2017, I think one of our themes is going to be, stop tolerating an inferior business, right?
Right.
Inferior in any way, and not so that it's inferior in terms of comparison, but it's falling below your vision for your business and
Right.
or your life. Somehow it's falling below.
Right.
And I think that for when I look around and listen to WOW members, a lot of us are transitioning, a lot of us going for that leverage 100%, because we've sort of got, whether it's attorneys or chiropractors or, coaches or authors, whatever, the one-on-one thing, we kind of can do that on demand, right? Whenever we
Right.
want that. And so it's getting really deliberate and carving out the parts of our business we don't really love and really building in that time and wealth leverage. So that's kind
Right.
of exciting, I think, for me, and I think for anybody who is who's doing this. It's just creating the business they really want and not tolerating the things that maybe 4 years ago we thought we had to, right? We had to
Right.
do this in order to do X, Y, Z, and now we're kind of thinking, well, I might just do that. I might not, I might not do
Hmm.
the in order to. I might just go straight for it. And so I'm excited about that. So I'm excited
Right.
to hear that. I would love to have an insider view when you start to kind of put this together, and just real quick, our virtual mastermind in December. If you can carve out that 4 hours, that will be,
Right.
I think I'm going to live stream in a live event there. And we're going to be talking directly about this. Like, how does this fit together with this? How can we put things together? How can we cut out what we don't want? And build something like really, really cool in 2017. So it might be a good
Yeah.
time. So what
Awesome.
about one tip or strategy that has helped you? It could be a tool, a tip, anything that you would say, you know what, if I'm talking to a new WOW member, here's one thing I would definitely do or definitely use in order to grow my business.
Hmm. So, so this is my tip, is to look within for the answers to what brings the most joy in your business offerings, and then to act on those things from your heart. For myself, I have found that when I go inside and I really am still and quiet and just listen, that the things that bring me a lot of joy and that I put into action, they're also the things that bring me greater currency in a lot of different ways. More relationship currency, more money currency, more opportunity currency, all of that. And so I would say my biggest lesson has been to stop comparing and don't look at the other models. Just go within, find the parts, and then form a model from that. And I don't know even if that's like a correct way to think, but that's kind of where it's at for me.
I love that. And I just wrote an article about, are you borrowing someone else's armor? I don't know if you read that, but it's sort of it's like a Bible story, but, from, childhood. But a lot of times when I've been stuck in my business, when I got really honest, I was using borrowed armor. I had been looking at
Mhm.
stuff that, comparing, or looking at, oh well, this model has this, so I must add that to mine, and
Right.
so it's like I was kind of borrowing my clothes, and then it's no wonder it kind of got clunky, and I started getting resistance because I hadn't done exactly what you're saying. Look within. Is there something, and there might not be, but is there something that you ask yourself? Is there like a journal prompt or something that helps you kind of get to that answer within, like what really would light you up regarding your business offerings? Is there a question you ask yourself or a statement you fill in, or?
So that's a really good question. I'll tell you what my process is. Some of it is inquiry. but I get up really early in the morning, and I find that if I sit with myself right after I go to the bathroom and brush my teeth, and I'm really quiet, that for whatever reason, I'm more open to the answers inside of myself. Maybe it's just because I've had 8 hours of sleep and I haven't been out in the world listening to the radio or television or all of my surroundings. Um, and so I am still, and then I often ask questions. You know, I believe in God, and I ask Spirit and say, what is my next step? Reveal it to me, show it to me, um, from source energy.
Right.
And that's one way that things come to me, that I can download what's my next piece. And it has to be in alignment with my body, like it has to feel right, to me as well. And so that's a good question around, like, what exactly is my inquiry, because I'm not so sure that I am aware of that, even though I do it intuitively.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's all great. You know, I'm an early morning riser too. I love early risers. I think I might be a little bit maybe prejudiced against people who sleep in, right? Like they say, "Oh, I don't get out of bed." I'm thinking, "Good Lord," you know. In my heart, I'm like, "Okay, you know, just accept them as they are," you know. But in my heart, I'm
Right, right.
thinking, we all need to rise early, you know. I think there's some famous guy, and I don't know who he is, but you know, he was actually speaking live, and he was, you know, talking about the things that you needed to do, you know, to kind of reach your ultimate potential. And I
Mhm.
forget who it was, but he said essentially, somebody said, you know, talking about kids waking up early or whatever. And, you know, you and I both have dogs, and they can be pretty needy in
Right,
the morning as well.
right.
And so he said, oh, you know, so the kids wake up at 5, and, you know, someone in the audience is like, yeah, you know, my kids wake up at 5. And he's like, oh, he's like, awesome, wake up at 4, you know? And so it's kind of like, you know, just get up an hour early, regardless of what that time is. So I love that. But the other thing is I've been really relying on journaling lately, and so almost like journaling planning, journaling scripting, you know, whatever. And one of the things that was really cool for me is when I started kind of writing out um, when I am, you know, in complete alignment. Here's sort of how I spend my day, and like that was kind of cool because there are certain things that I didn't really, I guess, consciously think about before, right? So it's like when things
Mhm.
are going in all 4 cylinders of my business, this is what it'll look like. And that was kind of a cool little, I don't know if it gets exactly to what you're doing, but it kind of started to inform me of, you know, how to start shaping the next season of my
Well,
business.
yeah, you had put out some journal prompts in WoW membership, and I did those in the morning
Oh,
at the
good.
time, and it really helped me to get clear. Kind of
Yeah.
like the fill in the blank, it's because it doesn't come from so much of a head space. It's not about thinking, it's about the feeling, or what's coming from our body, because that's where all the blocks are.
Right. And it's so weird too because it comes out so clear, right? And you're reading, you're like, wow,
Yes,
that's exactly
yes,
what I need to do, you know?
right.
And it's so it makes perfect sense. And so yeah, so I really love that. I think that's a great tip for anybody watching, you know, is just to really go in versus and a lot of times, you know, we think we need an answer for something and we Google it, right? And now we have
Right,
everybody else's answer. And,
right.
you know, and so it's you know, you're kind of going in, you know, looking inward, and it's like, what do I really, what's, you know, what
Yeah,
is really coming to me right now, like what's uniquely mine.
right,
And I love that. I think there's so many applications to that, like in business and marriage, spiritually, you know, what is uniquely mine, what won't
right,
feel clunky, what won't feel like I'm wearing somebody else's stuff, you know, because I think
right.
that's where the power comes from. And one of the things that you mentioned that I wanted people to really grab hold of, and I know you're the money coach, but you also said, you know, it's not just like, you know, currency, but relationship currency and opportunity currency. And I think that's exactly where a lot of WOW members are getting to as we ramp up for 2017, is that not just the money, but the time, the relationship, the opportunity currency. And I think it all comes from what's uniquely yours, right? Your unique,
Right.
as Simon T.
Right.
Bailey said, like kind of your twisted little view of the world or life or your subject matter. And so I love that. I wanted to wrap up and just
Yeah.
ask you kind of humbly, how or why you chose Women Who Wow, because I'm so honored to have you as a member, as I am all members, but I'm so honored to have you as a member. And I'm impressed by you. And I just, love that you're part of this tribe. It like really humbles me. So I was wondering how you chose that, why you chose it.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what. I chose it because you invited me first, right? That's the first part. But a bigger part is why I've stayed. And, you know, so I have to say, for the first time in all of my business years, wow, for me, feels like home. And it's a place of belonging for my heart. And I have not felt that way about anything before. And so, when I think about why it feels like home, or why I feel safe there, is that part of it is that I think that you've made it safe, in that the Facebook group that we have, it's like a brain trust, and everybody is so supportive. And for I probably shouldn't say this, but for the membership money alone, I would just do the Facebook piece, because you can put out a question there and and anybody can answer back, and sometimes you do. And I put out my raw feelings, I put out my raw journal prompts, and it just feels safe. It feels like home. It feels like a place where I can land and grow and be supported. And it's this like great container of a big hug with great feedback.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, I just, I get chills hearing you say that. It's one of the things that I'm most proud of in WOW is our diversity, not just like geographically, but politically, racially, the even gender identity in some cases.
Right,
And I feel like a lot of people feel at home, and one of the
right,
things that I'm so proud of is like we are fiercely loyal to each other. And
right,
even so much as people forwarding me emails they got from a member they've never met, right? And they're like, I saw this online and I'm not sure if they have taken this from you, right? Or if they're, and it's like we're looking
right,
out for each other. And in some
right.
cases we've never even met, and so I love that. I think that that's really just a huge blessing. And I tell people too, like we're not at all afraid to refund money and put people on what I call the NIB list, which is the not invited back list. And we've done that in some cases where people
Right.
have said, "Oh, I noticed, like this was happening," and so we do it quietly, but we really work to protect our members and our membership,
Right. Right.
and so a lot of that goes on behind the scenes. But and I encourage people, like if something's going on that you're not feeling comfortable with, or somebody is, emailing you privately, or using sort of WOW membership, let me know. And sometimes they do, and it's just anyway. But I appreciate you saying that, because it's something that just like melts my heart, because it was the goal. It was to find a place that I felt like I was at home and accepted, and people got me. And it's funny because
Hmm.
I think that a lot of places you go, it kind of falls into, at least for me. And when I started Women Who Wow, I decided for a month I would say yes to whoever invited me to whatever group, right? And if I could
Hmm.
physically get there, I would be there. And I would say it was the most miserable month ever because I was on the road a lot, but I kept that commitment. And I found that it fell into like just kind of the brass tacks, like strategic, hardcore business, which I like, right? or
Hmm.
it fell into the completely fluffy, like let's build each other's confidence kind of thing. And what I feel like what I wanted to do was merge and create that sort of heart centered where people get that the business, yeah, it provides for my family, right? But there's
Right.
so much more to it for me that
Right.
drives me. It's like a heart thing. It's not it's not just
Right.
about the bank account or the ego. It's like this is part of me. Like, don't you get how
Right.
important this is, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And I think that in WoW, I think that's what we get heart to heart. It's like, yeah, we get how important it is, right? This isn't just about, we refunded $37. It's like, this is like our thing. And that's what I think that people sort of get within WoW, it feels like.
I think so too. I love that you use the words fierceness and loyalty because that is definitely, those are the qualities as well as just the warmth and yeah. And the other thing that I love is the structure that you created is flexible where if I can like touch, I can call you with a one-on-one. I can touch with the mastermind. I can touch with the Facebook group. And so at any given time, if I have an idea or I need feedback, some one part of those components is always available to me whenever.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that because I'm
Yeah.
in the process of planning for next year, so that's really helpful. So I'm gonna we're gonna wrap
Yeah.
up, but thank you, Denise, for being
Thank
here. I'm
you.
so just again thrilled and humbled to have you on this, but also as part of membership, and I am excited to walk with you into 2017.
Yeah.
Everybody go and check out DeniseHughesExported.org. The link will be right below this video and also in the transcript of this call. And connect with her online in our Facebook group, and we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Michelle.
Thank you.